This is VSiN, the sports betting network. This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Kicking off hour two
Nightmare.
of Money Moves. My bad. As we welcome you back here to Money Moves.
You know what? I'm going to say it. I think right now we were just discussing the fact that you just don't. You tune me out sometimes.
That's not what I said.
I think
that's not what I said.
I think what just happened right now too, outside of just coming back like that. I was just telling Stormy a story about my wife. I think you tuned me out mid-story.
What? No, I did not.
You're a liar.
You were telling me about a voicemail that she was saying, and you were like, what are you saying during the voicemail?
You can't.
Is that not right?
I mean, that's the gist of it.
Yeah. Trying to book this thing, and then it totally went off the rails.
It did. How did it go off the rails?
Because she was thinking about something different.
Look at this. This is great.
We were coming
Welcome
back from break.
Second hour. Money Moves. Here we go.
I'm really struggling. So I think there's something wrong with my brain, truly, where some people have a gift of multitasking, and I just do not have it. My brain can only focus on one thing at a time. Like, I'm constantly asking people to repeat themselves. If I'm reading a book, I'm constantly rereading the thing from the whole page over again.
I get to a second and third page, and I'm like, how the hell did I get here? And then I have to go back and reread what I just read.
I've accidentally rebet the same thing multiple times. Forgot I did it. Ever been there?
Happens to the best of us.
Not ideal.
I think I like to tell the story of the year that Emmanuel Quickly was up for Sixth Man of the Year, and I had forgotten that I had bet him in October to win Sixth Man of the Year. And so I had spent weeks, months saying, this is ridiculous. He shouldn't win Sixth Man of the Year. This is the stupidest thing in the world. He had an awful start to the year. You guys are all idiots. And then I found the ticket in my account, and the next day I came back, and I was like, this is the strongest Sixth Man of the Year candidacy I've ever seen in my life.
That's fantastic. And that is one of those things, though. It's funny how whatever you do have in your account, like we were just consistently making the argument for.
Well, of course. I honestly, I've said this on this network. I'll say it 1,000 times over. I think I even said it on Pod to the Futures, which check it out wherever you get your podcast. I did a little bit on it this last episode. I think one of the weaknesses when it comes to sports betting content is when we evaluate these sort of things like awards or whatever, it just becomes you stumping for whatever you bet on. And it turns into people making, I think, ridiculous and ludicrous and disingenuous arguments about it, whatever topic it is. I will not go back to the Victor Wembanyama Rudy Gobert debate of 2024. But I'm with you. I think it is a weakness of this space that probably won't go away. I mean, and it's human nature. I'm not saying I don't do it. But I think that is, which is why coming up in 15 minutes, we will give you the case as to why Matthew Stafford should win MVP.
Boom. Yeah, both of us do have that in the account.
That's not really coming up, but that's
I will say that for the Matthew Stafford thing, you bet that obviously earlier, but that is, I think, relevant now because I think it's a buy point on Matthew Stafford in the market. But that's not because I had a prior bet on him personally.
It's very true. But it also might be a big day today for that because we have an MVP candidate playing tonight.
Let's get into this. So,
Dak Prescott.
Real quickly, everything that's to come this hour, coming up in 15 minutes, Jesse Brown is going to stop by the program. He is the number 2 ranked steer wrestling cowboy. NFR coming up this weekend, first of 10 days. This place is going to be mayhem in Vegas right now. So excited to get his thoughts on not only his event, but the bull riding event. I'm curious if there's any, you know how like snowboarders and skiers don't like each other? If it's the same thing with steer wrestling and bull riders, I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I mean, at least.
Is that a well-known like aspect of the rivalry of winter sports?
It was when I was in my Disney Channel days watching movies about it. So I'm pretty sure that definitely carries over.
I just remember Brink.
So, oh man, Soul Skaters. Absolutely. So
there's absolutely nobody on this network, nobody listening that would understand this.
Going to talk to him. We'll also have Jeff Erickson on the program in about a half an hour, talk through the prop betting angles for not only tonight, but the weekend. For us tonight, we are both very pro Dallas Cowboys, taking the points with Dallas in this spot, but there are a handful of different prop betting opportunities as well. So was there something Dak Prescott related that intrigued you? He is among the top 4 candidates now on the odds board for MVP, as you mentioned. He's the odds-on favorite for comeback player of the year. Offensive player of the year, odds still, I know, far too long for your liking. That said,
I converted Will Hill to join the coven, if you will. of Dak Prescott.
Yet the number hasn't moved.
I mean, that's what do you want me to say? I can only do so much. I have a little shrine in my closet, Hey Arnold style, of just Dak Prescott. It's all candles and whatnot, trying to get him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. If you get that reference, that's a good one for you, too. I don't know. I mean, I wanted to target more of some of the pass catchers than Dak himself. I do think it's easy to just go, hey, passing yards over, let's go. And I do think one of the things that would help him go over that is the fact that of all the shortcomings for this Lions defense that we have harped on, one of the things they've actually done really well is defend the run. If you look at some of the advanced metrics, and this will tie into Dak in a second, but, 16th in adjusted line yards allowed per carry. All right, that's middle of the pack. But 11th in running back yards allowed per carry. First in power success rate, so they're good at turning away short yardage situations. 9th in second level yards per carry. 5th in open field, so don't give up explosive runs. So if we're running with the premise that we have a defense who's weak at generating explosive plays or limiting them, as well as a front that's actually pretty good at stopping the run, I guess that would lead to Dak having a relatively good day today, right? And somewhat in line with the Opta AI projections that we just put up there in the range of 280 passing yards. And then as we kind of build on that, I know that you and I, the first thing that you said to me when you saw me was like, what are we thinking about some of the longest receptions for some of the Lions? And my response was, well, I think I'm kind of looking at like Pickens or CeeDee Lamb. And if I'm right in that, then maybe you're going to get an opportunity for Dak to go over his passing yards today.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, especially with the Lions' secondary injuries that they have. Ton of single high safety looks that Dak could potentially just eat up with those two studs. As far what would be the way you wanted to look at that? Is it longest reception? Is it yards for the game? Is it receptions totals?
Yeah.
What's the angle?
I mean, I want to gravitate toward longest reception. I mean, as you know, I've been kind of playing those a little bit more this year, and
you've done well with them.
Yeah, we've nailed quite a few of these, so we're kind of just like seeing if we can pick our spots with some of them. I was gravitating a little bit toward George Pickens. Now, the pause you hear in my voice, the interesting, I don't know, what do you call this like weird thing with the Lions defense? We were talking about this before the show. They are one of the worst defenses in giving up explosive plays. They're around 25th, and yet they're first in yards after catch allowed. So essentially, they give up these big plays, but their guys are right there to make the stop, which is an oddity, I think, when you look at their overall profile. So I liked Pickens because Pickens, 15.6 yards per reception, average up to target of 12 yards downfield. That's right in line with where CeeDee Lamb is at. And he is actually really good at generating yards after catch. One of the leaders for the Cowboys at 5.1 yards per reception, yards after catch per reception. So essentially, every time he catches the ball, he adds about 5 yards every time. Now, how do those two things meet, right? When you have Pickens, who's really good at generating yards after catch, versus a Lions defense that's good at stopping yards after catch? I'm not entirely sure, but I feel like Pickens is the guy I would like to go with here. If I'm getting a team that gives up a lot at the point of attack, plus a guy who maximizes how many yards he gets, I think that equates to Pickens going over 26.5 as the longest reception. Okay.
The one that I was looking at on the Lions side was Jameson Williams, and it's 27.5, so similarly in that range. We saw last week, and a lot of this is based around the concept of Amon-Ra St. Brown not being available today. But even in games that he's been available, he's still cashed this in 4 of his last 5 games. He was Goff's go-to guy after we saw St. Brown go down on Thanksgiving. 7 catches on 10 targets, 144 yards, a touchdown, had a couple chunk plays of over 20, had the 44-yarder. 4th best wide receiver this season in terms of yards after catch per reception. Yep. And as we talk about that yak element defensively, the Cowboys on the other side are actually 4th worst in yards after catch allowed to opposing pass catchers. So that was the angle that I was taking in that one. It's an area that the Dallas defense struggles, and Jameson Williams, a guy that Dan Campbell has even said, we got to do better by you, got to get you more involved. They have. And without Amon-Ra St. Brown, or if he does play potentially a limited one, what could that open up for him?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I think because you're right. I was surprised. We talked about this. We actually had the guru on Hansen during the Thanksgiving game, and I had asked him because when he was on, that's when Amon-Ra St. Brown got hurt. And I was like, so how does this manifest? Like, what are we doing here? And he had mentioned him. He mentioned Isaac Tesla. What I think is curious, and maybe this is just too hardcore and you're reading too much into it, to your point about Williams, you saw his average depth of target really shrink. For the season, it's 12.7. In that game, he immediately slotted into the Amon-Ra St. Brown. Average depth of target was like 8 yards downfield. There were some quick screens. There was a lot of different stuff. So I think you're going to have volume on top of that and an opportunity to get some of those. I mean, we're talking like quick screens, things like that to generate those big plays if that's what you're looking for.
And his receptions number with that in mind, I'm trying to pull it up here, 5.5 plus 112 on the over if you do want to go over that number. Some of these too, depending on the book that you're looking at, you can shift those around, or if you want to do a same game parlay, get a lower number mixed into that. The receptions number for the Cowboys receivers that you were referencing earlier, 6.5 for CeeDee Lamb, 5.5 for George Pickens. Those receiving yards numbers for Lamb, 84.5, Pickens 83.5, Jamison Williams 80.5, and the aforementioned Isaac Tesla, who's just got a fun name to say, 40.5. And Kendall Valenzuela was talking to us about him yesterday from just a fantasy perspective, that he was a guy, especially with the Amon-Ra St. Brown questions, somebody that could be worthwhile to grab. Yes, indeed. Our audience always surprises me, by the way. Why?
Well, we have people who understand the Brink reference or whatever you were talking about in our Twitter mentions, talking about Johnny Tsunami.
Yes.
Yeah, like we have people who actually get this. Yeah.
At Better Brewer. Yes. Johnny Tsunami and the rivalry, okay?
Of skiers and snowboarders for the right to the prime side of the mountain.
He moves from Hawaii and he can't surf anymore. And then there's this whole debate about the hoity-toity skiers, and he's going to be a snowboarder because it's more like surfing on a wave.
Okay. No, I don't remember. I was not a Disney person.
There's multiple Johnny Tsunami movies.
Really?
Yes.
Disney was not my thing growing up.
Missing out, buddy.
Okay. That's a good one. By the way, Jason, we talk about you and having a problem with paying attention. The second I say something, the second it leaves my mouth, I don't remember at all. Because what did Jason say? Actually, JVT, it's definitely a thing. Us two plankers on more than one occasion have issues with knuckle draggers. I don't know what that means or what that's a reference to at all, Jason. I'm sorry. That completely lost me.
Over the head.
Yeah. Do you know?
Nope.
I have no idea what that means, Jason. I apologize.
We've got to step aside here. When we come back, the Super Bowl of rodeo is upon us this week. Jesse Brown, professional rodeo cowboy, joining us in studio after this.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
The NFR National Finals Rodeo back in Vegas beginning tonight. It is the Super Bowl of rodeo. Total prize money this year up to a record $13.5 million. The Thomas and Mack is going to be sold out. Action at the South Point Arena, busy as ever. And we are so fortunate here on Money Moves as we welcome you back to the program to be joined by Jesse Brown, who joins us in studio here at Circa Resort and Casino. Professional rodeo cowboy, currently ranked number 2 in the World Steer Wrestling rankings. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Pumped for this week?
Yes. Couldn't be more excited.
All right, so for our audience, I've watched some of it earlier this morning when we knew we were going to have you in. I think Stormy has as well. So what is steer wrestling? What are you doing?
Steer wrestling is one of the 8 events in rodeo, and what you're doing is you're jumping off your horse and you're grabbing the steer by the horns and you're throwing them down, and it's a timed event, so fastest time wins the most money.
Okay, so for context, I think I was watching one of you. 3.4 seconds is when I was watching you. What's a fast time? What's a record? How quickly you want to get these guys down?
Yep, anything in the threes, you're probably going to win money here.
Okay.
The fastest I've ever been is 2.9, and I think the world record here, I guess at Thomas and Mack, is 3.0.
Wow.
So, shooting for in the threes, short fours is a good run. You want to be in the 3s and 4s.
Can you explain for our audience that might be unfamiliar, like a little rodeo one-on-one, how many rounds are there and what ultimately wins this thing?
Yep. So the NFR is our Super Bowl, and the top 15 in the world throughout the year qualified for this. And then you get 10 steers the next 10 nights. The rodeo starts at 5:45 each night. Steer wrestling will be second event, and you get 10 steers. Each night pays 6 holes, and then your average on 10 head pays 8 holes. And then you add up all that money at the end, and plus your full year, and then that would be your world champion.
So right now, from a betting perspective, because this is what we do here on this network, you are not only the number 2 ranked wrestler, you're second on the odds board, tied with somebody else. When you hear that you are not the favorite, what does that mean to you?
I guess they got to put the favorite as who's ever won right now, I imagine. So, but that's cool, even to be up there at top. The cool part is we can bet on it. People can bet on it, and there's odds. And that they're really recognizing it as a sport here, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah, odds up here at Circa Resort and Casino, where we're broadcasting from. You have it for, the first day of action, the full thing, and those will be up each and every day throughout the course of this thing. Can you give us a little perspective on the field, like some of these guys who are your steepest competition?
Yeah. Will Loomis, he come in number 1 in the world, and I think he's finished second in the world maybe 2 or 3 years. Tyler Wagesback, he's won the world 5 times, which is the most of anybody going. So JD Struxness is the reigning world champion. Justin Schaefer has the horse of the year banker, and that's what I'll be riding.
Okay.
Ty Erickson's world champ. There's a bunch of good people. I mean, everybody's tough, top 15 in the world. So each night's tough. There's no guaranteed money.
So this is not. I think the dynamic you were looking for was screw these guys.
Yeah.
we wanted heated rivalry, but it sounds like you're too
nice.
Friendly. Yeah, you're too friendly.
Well, everybody kind of helps out everybody. It's like you're like almost like brothers out here. You're going against each other. Obviously, you want to beat them pretty bad, but also at the same time, we're all friends, really.
So I was going to ask him because in addition to obviously the steer wrestling, there's the bull riding element of it and stuff. And I was curious if maybe there's like a head-to-head dynamic there where like you guys don't like each other.
Well, they wouldn't want to get in a scruff with us.
I don't think so.
The bull riders are pretty small guys, so they're on the other end of the arena. And honestly, we don't cross paths too much. And I'm friends with a couple of them, but don't know too many of them near as good. So we kind of different ends, and I don't think they want none of the steer wrestlers.
So in unique sports like this, I always have to ask, and I think it's at the top of people's minds. So what is your background? Like, how did this start? When was the first time that Jesse's like, you know what, like I want to get into steer wrestling?
Yep, I was a senior in college. I got a bit of a late start especially from most of these guys. A lot of rodeo people start as a kid, and it's kind of in a family thing, or you grew up on a ranch or something like that. And I did grow up on a ranch, but I was just heavy into sports, and I loved that. So I pursued that through college a bit, and then made a bit of a turn and switched to and figured out this rodeo thing.
And your dad was a saddle bronc rider, so there were at least some connections to rodeo, correct?
Yep. He rode saddle broncs, and then when I was born, he wasn't rodeoing yet, but he was. We run some cows and he'd team rope a little bit, so I was around it, but I was always keeping it arm's length for whatever reason. I just love sports, so I was doing that, and then so I kind of had a pretty good transition into it because he knew a lot of connections that helped me out.
I know as part of your background as well, when you first went to college, you were pursuing a different athletic journey. You were playing football at Washington State. How did that transition happen to you where you transferred to another school and got into this?
Yep. So went to Washington State, and you think you're just going to go there and instantly start and you're going to have this great career. And that was what I hoped on. And I was the backup, and I kind of seen the writing on the wall. I was going to be the backup probably the whole time. So, or a backup of some sort. And so I kind of wanted to pivot. I wanted to do something else, and I knew athletically, I felt like it wasn't the end. I wanted to continue do something, and rodeo was always there for me. So I transferred to Montana State, and they have a really good rodeo team there, and that's where I learned how to steer wrestle.
So there's always the question for athletes, like, what's your welcome to the league moment? What's your welcome to steer wrestling moment? The one where you were like, ooh, this is going to be tough. Like, you're good at it, but this is going to be a hard work to actually get up there.
Yeah. It's not instant success. I mean, I started in 2015, I think, and then I made the first NFR in 2020. And but when you're a rookie, it's especially hard to win, and you're going across the country, and there's a lot of steps to it. And like a lot of these guys that I've kind of looked up to making the NFR, I always wanted to be here. So I mean, how hard it was to win my first year. I maybe won like 20,000 the whole year. So that was probably my welcome to rodeo. It's not easy.
And I know here at NFR, like, you've been close to winning the whole thing. That obviously you want this to be the year if it can be. How much do you feel like your game, so to speak, is kind of peaking at the right time with the way you've performed some of your more recent events?
Yep. That's all it is. And it's kind of different for us. We get like a 2-month break. Or the end of our season was September 30th. So you get about 2 months to prepare for this. And it's like you said, it's peaking at the right time. So like training wise, I've really focused on trying to be healthy. Number one, and I'm really confident in the horse I'm riding. And the late practices have gone well, and my timing feels good. And I've been trying to work on my mental game a lot, read some books and listen to some podcasts and do all the stuff. But confidence is key, I think. So that's what I've been focusing on.
So what's preparation like? Like, how often are you getting out there? Are you actually participating in wrestling? What's working out, like, in terms of prepping your body? So what is preparation like for something like this?
Yep. I've been trying to be in the gym almost every day. Gym and sauna, eating a lot, trying to put on some weight. Vitamins. The big thing is staying healthy out here in Vegas. You know, you're 10 days and seeing a lot of people and doing a lot of stuff. So staying healthy is big. As far as practice wise, you can do practice on dummies, groundwork, or off the horse. And the longer I've been in the career and the more I've done it, my practice has gone down a little bit just to stay sharp and keep healthy, because it's pretty easy to get banged up. So and leading up, I was home this year. The first time I've stayed home and practiced. I've always gone other places, and so we had to travel, and it was cold up in Oregon, so we were doing an indoor barn and doing some practice. Okay,
so I would assume that a lot of people, and I was one of them initially, that the hardest part is obviously getting the steer down. Having said that, I feel like it's a tricky, hard thing to accurately land off your horse onto the cow. Is that a tricky, hard thing to do?
It can be. It can be. That's why you ride a good horse, because they're playing the game too, and they kind of know where they want to be by that steer. And it's important. Like here in Vegas, it happens so fast. Like it's a small arena, smaller than most, and the start's fast. So it's going to happen. Your reaction time has to be very quick, and crawling off your horse and catching horns.
When we found out yesterday that you were going to be on the show, our producer, Justin, instantly knowing your football background, was like, I wonder which injuries were like more worrisome to him in football or in steer wrestling. It's got to be steer wrestling, right?
By far. Yep, by far. And I think it's a lot of the same, though. I mean, knees are big in both football and rodeo, but we put our feet in the ground, and then a lot of knee stuff can happen, and shoulders, and same as football as well. Pecs, shoulders, knees, probably the biggest thing. A lot of broken ribs. But yeah, rodeo definitely happens a lot more.
Selfishly, as a college football fan, I want to ask, because when you were at Washington State, Mike Leach was your coach there.
Yep.
Any good memories? He was always so good for a soundbite or something written down on the pad of paper. Anything you got for us?
Yeah, no, I think he was the media's favorite coach of ever, because he always was giving you good stuff. But he was the quarterback coach also at Washington State, so we'd have meetings, and we'd be watching film, and he'd rewind it about 20 times, and then he'd go off on a tangent, like really like interviews, talking about favorite type of candy and why that one ranks better or something like that. He'd go off, and so we'd be in those meetings forever, and you never know what you're going to hear. So he was a great mind, and I mean, a brilliant guy, and brilliant to almost be a little bit weird. And it was. You never knew what you were going to get with him, and it was cool to be under a Hall of Fame coach, and rest in peace, Mike Leach.
I mean, we have our last minute here with you. I know you're very busy. Are you keeping up with college football? You got any hot college football takes?
I'm really sad the Pac-12 is no more.
Yeah.
It stinks. So the Cougs have decent year. The Pac-2 I think they're 1-1 with Oregon State. So, but no real hot takes. Which Pac-12 is still going, and it's cool that the playoffs is more teams than that. So
hey, your Bobcats though in the FCS playoffs again. They played for the Natty last year.
Yep, and they just beat Missoula in that rivalry game. So they got a good team. They're always tough. Yeah, that's a cool thing. And I got a lot of buddies back up there that just live and die by them. So no, that's good. That's good to root for them. And it's funny, when I went there was a coach that was at Washington State that also ended up going and was head coach over there, Jeff Choate.
We all know Jeff Choate.
Yeah,
That's
because
amazing.
he's in Reno maybe now. So
Thank you so much for this. We appreciate it. Best of luck this week. You're going to crush it.
Thank you.
Jesse Brown, everybody. Check out the NFR. Next 10 days here in Vegas. Going to be a blast in Sin City. We'll be right back.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Such a great time of year to be in the betting world. And if you haven't already, you got to check out the all-new Boomer Sportsbook. They're bringing you the action for football, hockey, hoops, and so much more. And when you use our code here at VSiN, VSiN250, when you sign up for a Boomer's mobile account, they're going to match your first deposit up to $250 in bonus bets. Plus, you get minus 105 prices on all pro football spreads every regular season game the rest of the way. Download the Boomer Sportsbook app today. You can learn more at betwithboomer.com. Must be 21 or older. Terms and conditions do apply. Please bet responsibly. Again, betwithboomer.com, code VSiN250. Stormy, Buonantony, and Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Back here live in downtown Las Vegas. Going to talk a little NFL, more so from a prop perspective, as we welcome in, as we always do on a Thursday, our good buddy Jeff Erickson, RotoWire senior editor, host of RotoWire's Fantasy Sports Today on SiriusXM Channel 87, joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line. Jeff, what's going on? And we've got a fun Thursday night football matchup ahead to kick off Week 14.
Yeah, probably the best Thursday night game of the year. We've got full rest for both of these teams, so we usually don't get that. We usually get the janky 2.5 days of practice where there's only 1 day of real practice. But unfortunately, we got all these injuries for the Lions. It's kind of diminishing this matchup a little bit. But I love this because it's a desperation game. Both teams really need this to have a chance at making the playoffs. It's basically an elimination game. Should be, a lot of scoring in this one. It's just a lot of things to be excited about for this game.
Yeah, you mentioned basic elimination game from ESPN Analytics. The Lions win would all but end the dream for Dallas, giving them just an 8% chance to make the field. But a Cowboy win would see their playoff chances double to about 34% with a pretty favorable schedule down the stretch as well. From the Dallas side of this, from the full game side of this, before we get into some of the prop market, did you have a feel for how this one might go?
Yeah, I have a Dallas feel. I think that... Okay. We're in the, we're going to get all James Monroe on you here and get in the era of good feelings about the Dallas defense. But, Quinnen Williams has really transformed that defense a little bit there. They've gotten, Overshown back as a big addition to this defense as well. We talk about the Cowboys the same way we talk about the Bengals. Amazing offense. You just want their defense to be 15th, 20th worst in the NFL. If you can get middle of the road defense, then you can do something with that. You can get yourself a stew. And I think that we've got that here with the Cowboys right now. They got a lot of pressure on Mahomes last week. I think they'll put a lot of pressure on Goff this week because Detroit's offensive line issues are still apparent. They still, Frank Ragnow failed the physical. I think that's a big deal in this game. So I think I have a Cowboys feel for this one here. I like, and especially now that I see we can get the hook on that, all the better.
All right, so let's talk about some of these skill position players then. I was discussing some longest reception for George Pickens. You're going to go a different route. What do you expect?
It's pretty simple. I'm just going to go anytime touchdown. It was debating between Pickens and Lamb, and I think Pickens is more the red zone target, so I'll go that route with him. But they're both about 125 plus 125, so you can go either way on that one there. Lamb just, he dropped that touchdown in the Thanksgiving game. You just get a little nervous about him every once in a while there. So, but I'm going to go with the anytime touchdown on this one here. Both the Cowboys and the Lions are among the bottom 3 teams in fantasy points allowed by wide receivers right now. So, and I looked into it a little bit more. It seemed like it was just a lot of red zone production there by receivers against the Lions. So we'll go with the Pickens route here.
I saw you also liked Jared Goff to go over his passing yards in this game. And because of what you just mentioned with you thinking that the Cowboys could be in a position to win this thing, is this more of a game script situation where you think he'll be having to pass more later on in the game?
It's game script definitely contributes to that. Also just recent production. I've seen it as low as 249.5 over at FanDuel, shop around always. But even if you get the 251.5, he's topped that the last 5 games. The Cowboys, even though they're playing a lot better defensively, still average in these last 3 games over 260 passing yards against. So I think that's a good combo with the fact that, the Cowboys are, they're favored to win score a number of points. I think the game flow is going to suggest that. I don't think Detroit can slow things down. I know they want to be that run heavy team. I just don't think they have the offensive line for that there. So I think Goff will get that number.
All right, let's go to the weekend then that we will see. Arizona Cardinals, interesting matchup here. You've got a wide receiver that you're targeting. What are we doing?
Yeah, I'm going back to the well with Michael Wilson. It's 5.5 receptions. It's a pretty simple equation. Marvin Harrison Jr. plays. You don't go with the over receptions prop for Michael Wilson. When Marvin Harrison Jr. does not play, you go crazy with it. 2 games, 10 and 13 receptions respectively in those 2 games. Harrison hasn't practiced the first 2 days. They're talking about that heel injury, suggests that he'll miss at least this game. I know the matchup against the Rams is kind of tough, but I still think that you got to throw against the Rams to kind of keep pace at all in this game. So I think Wilson gets his receptions.
Jeff Erickson, RotoWire senior editor, joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line for Money Moves. Looking at this Bills-Bengals game coming up this weekend, you're targeting props for running backs on both sides. Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, it's both teams really struggle against the run. Both teams are running the ball very well. Chase Brown, I'm going to go rushing and receiving, and I think I threw this out there last week as well. Over 76.5 rushing receiving yards combined. I think you can find it 74.5 some places as well. He's gotten this number 6 games in a row. And the Bills are a bottom 3 team in stopping the run. I know when they get Shaq Thompson out there instead of Bernard, they're a little bit better in defending the run, and Bernard, for that matter, is banged up. But guess what? So is Joey Bosa. I don't think Joey Bosa plays this game. I think that only helps the Bengals offense. I know all the hype is going to be on Allen and Burrow, and for good reason. They're both awesome. I can't wait for this matchup. But I think the running backs are going to go crazy. On the other side of the ball, the Bengals are the nut low. They are the worst team in stopping the run, the worst team against tight ends. We've talked about that before. I didn't play Dalton Kincaid because I don't know if he's going to be able to go, so I'm not going to go that route. But the Bills are going to learn from what the Ravens did wrong on Thursday night. You're going to see James Cook get 20-plus touches in this game. I love the rushing over in this one here. Even though it's a high number, the Bengals have terrible linebacking play, terrible safety play. Even the Ravens on Thursday night, when they lost to the Bengals, they still averaged 6 yards a play. You're going to get big chunks of rushing yards from James Cook in this one here. So let's go with the over rushing yards, 99.5. I'm going to go with it still.
Big one in the AFC South, Jacksonville and Indianapolis. Colts haven't won there since 2014. Result, though, does not matter for you. What are we doing with Brenton Strange?
Brenton Strange, since coming back, has had over 130 receiving yards. He's a big component of this offense. The Colts are just mid in stopping tight ends. It's also going to be a game a little bit in the muck. A lot of rain predicted for this game here. Over an inch of rain during the game is the current weather forecast in this one. So shorter passes is what I'm looking for here. I'm looking for fewer downfield plays. I mean, more throws over the middle when they do throw. I think Strange is that guy. I think he's going to get a bunch of targets. I like the 42.5 receiving yards in this one. Brian Thomas Jr. might be their fourth receiving option at this point in time, especially if Parker Washington plays. So I'm going to go with Strange. I think he unlocks a lot of things for this Jaguars offense. I do like the Jaguars side on this one here against the Colts. Daniel Jones is playing on a broken leg. He had one rushing attempt last week. You're taking away a lot of the RPOs, a lot of the quarterback sneaks. You used Tyler Warren for a 4th-and-1 tight end tush push last week. By the way, I think like 7 teams are doing that now. We need to make this go away. It's just, I'm not a big fan.
It hasn't been working particularly well for a lot of them either.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, Warren fumbled the snap. There was another tight end that I think fumbled the snap on Sunday, too, that we watched as well. So,
Kate Stover failed twice in a row on the opposite side of that game. Harold Fannin, I think, is the other fumble one.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking of.
About. Yep.
I just remember as we were watching
just a lot of failures with that.
Absolutely. I just remember on Sunday as we were watching that too, because we had talked earlier about Daniel Jones and the injury and how they were playing. You instantly were like, well, that's a sign.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's 100%. That was a sign that his leg wasn't working because they usually have Daniel Jones run those tush pushes. And so if he can't even push off the leg, then you got a problem. I will say, if we're on this topic, though, because I don't think they're going to stop, Jeff, might as well play a little bit more anytime touchdown with Tyler Warren, because if they get in a scenario that they're going to do a short yardage push, he's probably going to get the call.
Yeah, you're right. And the funny thing is, in a normal world, we'd be talking about how the Jags are so bad at stopping tight ends. But my Bengals exist. They're historically bad at stopping tight ends. So we don't even pay attention that the Jags are just merely really bad against it. So, yeah, I love Tyler Warren this week. I think his receiving yard prop is something like 44.5. So I like that one as well. I'm out here in California, so I'm doing like underdog instead of the sports books. But I paired Tyler Warren with James Cook and Chase Brown to do my little entry as far as that goes. Those are 3 of my favorite plays this week.
Last 60 seconds, Quinshon Judkins had a 91-yard game last time out against San Francisco. What do you think he does against the Titans?
Titans are sneakily a pretty decent run defense there. This game is going to be in the muck. I think they're actually going to struggle to run the ball. I think he's going to get a decent amount of volume, but the efficiency just isn't there. It's such a low total. I love these December Cleveland games are amazing as far as that goes. They usually even hit these really ridiculously low totals, under 33.5. I think that's in play as well. I just think that there's one thing Tennessee can do. They can stop the run. Jeffrey Simmons is a very strong human. I think they'll prevent that from being for him hitting that rushing total. I think it's 88.5. Or 81.5. I'm going to go the under on that.
Jeff, awesome stuff as always. We really appreciate your time. See you next week.
All right, take care.
Jeff Erickson, again, doing great stuff over there at RotoWire. You can check him out on SiriusXM Channel 87, host of RotoWire's Fantasy Sports Today. We do need to step aside here. When we come back, give our best bets for the day. We do need to make some contest selections as well. It depends on if you want to do Thursday or not involved. If you like the Cowboys so much, I don't know if you want to submit early.
And so do you.
You're not wrong.
watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Boost your bankroll. Broncos giving new depositors a 50% purchase bonus right now when you use our promo code VSiN at sign up. That's VSIN. Broncos lines are live on our VSiN betting splits page each and every day. You can see where the action is moving before you place your wager. Turn your bonus into an edge with insight that matters. Go to playbronco.com today and use the promo code VSiN. Again, that's VSIN. We're wrapping up this Thursday edition of Money Moves live from downtown Las Vegas. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you. Appreciate everybody, by the way, chiming in on social media. Some folks loved the NFR interview we did earlier with Jesse Brown. That was a fun conversation because it's so different from what we do with our typical, football, basketball, baseball type sports. It's such a different conversation and style and how people get into it, and you can bet on it now, which is that much more fun.
Yes, especially
I think
here.
Just out of the spirit of this, I have to place a bet on Jesse Brown now. Should I go round one or overall?
Let's go overall.
Overall, this is the year.
I mean, this is the easiest.
ready.
This is the easiest thing for me to understand.
How?
Just win it.
Yeah, but round one is like the fastest round for the day today. You can bet them daily by the round because there's 10 of them.
Okay. I'm just going to bet him to win it all because I have faith.
Okay.
Unlike you.
I'm ready. 7-1. Let's get it going. Was cool to see some of the photos floating around on social media as well. He and some of the other steer wrestlers got up there to Legacy Club with the whole crew here at Circa. You see the odds board there. Will Lummis, your favorite, at plus 650, but Jesse and JD Struxness both there at 7-1. So I'm going to add it to the account. I think that'll be fun. Speaking of everything going on at Circa, we had the latest lines revealed for the Circa Million contest. And each and every week, I think it's fun just to go through this exercise. I'm not normally here on Fridays, but we actually don't have to cement our picks today, which is kind of nice. But
So I don't have to chase you down when you're on a sideline somewhere on a Saturday.
Hey, Stormy, can you send me your picks? Kickoffs in 5 minutes.
Hey, what week was it? Was it your Kentucky-Texas game? Was that when I texted you while you were on the sideline? I think so, because
normally that's fine.
Yeah.
Right? Because my game's usually like 7:15 kickoff Pacific time. But that day in particular, it was an earlier game.
I texted you. I was like, what's your pick? And I was like, oh, wait. I think she's in Lexington, Kentucky or something doing something.
Are you adamant about the Dallas Cowboys that you would want to submit earlier this week, or just let's stick to our guns, our druthers?
I mean, first off, I don't know why you keep putting the onus on me with the Cowboys. When we get to best bets, I think we share a play.
We do.
Yeah. I don't know why. Like, are you high enough on the Cowboys that you would want to use them early?
I was just asking the question because we made an agreement early on this season that we were just going to make our picks on Saturdays. But
I might just pound the table for right now and say we got to use them.
Don't say the Titans.
I'm going to say the Titans. What do you mean? You're going to like 4.5 with the Browns? See, there we go.
You don't have to pick that game.
All right, we'll put it on the cutting room floor.
No, okay. So here's what I want to talk about with Tennessee.
Okay.
Is every week I'm wrong on them. Every week.
Right. So let's go with the person who's not wrong on them.
Have you been right on them? How often have you been right on the Tennessee Titans?
I've been right about the Browns in recent weeks.
Okay.
Well, no, let's see. So we had the Seahawks. So the Seahawks game. We got that, right?
I agree, though, in conceptually not wanting to lay a number in a game that's like a total of 33.5. And
you have a quarterback that has been one of the worst in the NFL since he started games. But this could be a 3-0 game.
Whoa, listen, you're going to get the internet on the...
Justina Anderson does not watch our program. I think I'll be fine.
We can hear.
All right, just write it down. Just write it down.
Let me get my pen.
Yeah.
Handy dandy pen here. I'll write the Titans down as a maybe.
You would be a twist pen kind of person.
This is from a Four Seasons. This is a nice pen.
Of course. There you go. Your bouginess leaking out as well.
Dude, can I just say that hotel...
I wouldn't know.
What to end the regular season at Stanford. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've stayed in a Best Western or a La Quinta Inn on the road for college football. We ended the season with an exclamation point bang. Very nice. Very nice Four Seasons. That's never happened to me in the history of me doing
Is
this.
a Marriott considered nice?
Depends on the property, but yes. And it's Marriott, by the way.
Marriott, sorry. I've
said Marriott my whole life until I learned recently that that's not how you say it.
When I was traveling with UNLV basketball, we had a California trip at those random non-conference tournaments, and it was in San Juan Capistrano, and we stayed at a Marriott that was over like on a cliff over the beach.
Oh, beautiful!
Yeah, it was very
That's
nice.
very nice.
It was very nice.
You're getting bougie on me for somebody who doesn't travel.
I didn't pay for any of it. I was a team employee.
That's the best way. That's the best way. And did you get to keep your points?
I don't know. No, UNLV.
That's what you got to make requests for.
UNLV basketball flies on a private jet.
For the hotel, I mean.
Oh, I don't know how that works.
You got to make these requests.
Okay.
Any other game, and we'll go through this full card tomorrow to make the decisions, but any other game that you are pounding the table for that I need to prepare my thoughts on?
Not entirely. I mean, I think I wouldn't say no to Chargers plus 2.5, even though it's not 3. Texans plus 3, you're kind of getting into territory where it's like, I'd like the side, but
you love the Texans this week, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I like them. I don't know if love is a strong word. I guess I would maybe inching into pound the table territory, Cincinnati against Buffalo.
I could be with you on that one. The Bills are really
I was
bothering
going to say, are you going to contribute a side?
And
here?
it's 5.5. So I like the Bills are not a team that I have a ton of faith in right now. The only thing they really do have going for them is playing at Orchard Park in this spot.
Oh, I know one that you'll be down with. Laying 6.5 with Green Bay.
Oh, I already told you that.
Yeah?
Yes,
Okay,
I'm a big
there
fan.
we
But
go.
did you like that full number?
Yes.
I thought that might have been too big for you.
No, that's fine. I'm down.
I think this is the week the Bears get got.
Famous last words.
It just, we can't keep going down this road with them.
I mean, I don't know if we can't.
Some of those pass game numbers, and I get obviously
Sure.
it's their run game has been tremendous. Everything that their offensive line has been doing, top 5 in the league in pass block and run block win rate, all that stuff. But the pass game is abysmal.
I will give you 2 more before we get to best bets. Again, we can finalize these tomorrow.
Yeah. I like
Ravens minus 5.5 or Seahawks minus 7. Seahawks on the road against Atlanta, Ravens at home against the Steelers.
I'm more intrigued by Seattle.
They beat the absolute dog bleep out of these teams.
The Ravens, I'm just unsure about if they're really going to get on the right track and fix this thing. Because I get the ease of their schedule. I get the ease of their schedule. And we had an entire 12-minute segment yesterday talking about the fraudulence of the Steelers finally catching up with them. And I told you, I'm not a believer in them either, and their defense is terrible. But the Ravens don't look right. It doesn't look right.
Tough to bet against an MVP candidate, right?
Huge game for the division. Shut up. You're so
I was wondering if that was going to land.
All right, time for best bets today. What are we adding to the account?
You want me to go first? I'll go first. All right, let's see. Last night, split in the National Basketball Association. Nets plus 8, get there. Outright Hawks minus 3, do not. Got burned there. Obviously, the NBA cannot let me just have a normal day. About an hour before the game, oh, by the way, Jalen Johnson, not on the injury report, downgraded to questionable. 10 minutes later, he's out. So that was fun to watch the Clippers let me down just one more time. Nets plus 8, get there. Let's go to today for the card. Cowboys. I actually took 3, and this is 3.5. So I got the worst of the number. I think you got the best of it here. We'll go Wizards plus 10, Raptors minus 2 over the Lakers. And we didn't hit on this. I'll give you a couple of numbers really quickly on it. Austin Reeves, we're going to try this one more time. Over 36.5 points and assists. In the games in which Luka Doncic did not play earlier this year, Stormy, my man here, usage rate of over 35%, 22.7 field goal attempts per game, 10 assists per game. In the games without Luka, we're down to 15 field goal attempts per game, 5.8 assists, and a usage rate of 27.6%. LeBron is back. He might cut into this, but I think points and assists for Reeves with no Luka Doncic is a probability or possibility. I can't speak. Let's go with Reeves over points and assists, 36.5.
Do want to remind y'all on the way out as well, if you think you can out handicap one of our own here at VSiN, I'm not just talking about JVT, you got a real chance here against VSiN's Mike Somich, as First Bet is giving you a free shot in a 5-race showdown Saturday, December 6th. We're talking the H. Allen Jergens at Gulfstream and 4 graded stakes at Aqueduct, including the G2 Cigar Mile. Just submit your $2 win place mythical picks. You can try to end the day with more money than Mike. Anybody who does will split the $5,000 grand prize credited straight to your First Bet account. First.com/VSiN is how you can join. Free to enter. Contest opens today. Again, first.com/VSiN. See if you can beat Mike. As for me tonight, I am on the Dallas Cowboys team total over 25.5, and I did take the 3.5 with the Cowboys in the spot as well. And from a prop betting perspective, I did end up throwing this in the account. Jamison Williams, longest reception reception over 27.5. I think that this could be a good look with or without Amon-Ra St. Brown, but obviously the hope from this wager is that he will be taking over that St. Brown role. Had 7 catches on 10 targets when he took it over last Thursday, 144 yardage and a touchdown, a couple chunk plays of 20 plus, had the 44-yarder and gone over this number in 4 of the last 5 games, even with St. Brown on the field as well. He is the 4th best wide receiver in the league in terms of yards after catch per reception, which is something that Dallas does largely struggle in. Let's see if we can get it home. 1-1 on the hockey plays yesterday, and at least for the Mammoth loss, we knew it was over early. That's a wrap for us today. Coming up next, Follow the Money with Mitch and Paul holding it down.